Count Leopold Adam Radecky passed away in 1980. He lost $7,784 in 2009, 29 years after his passing. I return unclaimed money from deceased estates to living family members if I can find living family members. Leopold and his wife Alexandra moved to Australia in 1949. Here they come, through Fremantle. Then they changed their names from Radecky with an I to Radecky with a Y, because they understood Australians on a deep level. They had a bad encounter with a landlady in the 1950s, and Leopold had opinions about fuel in the 1960s, and the couple did a nice little season's greetings during the early 1970s. Here's Leopold and Alexandra living together in early 1977, and here's Leopold alone in late 1977, because Alexandra travelled to Rarotonga in the Cook Islands, where a famous doctor named Vlastamil Brych was practicing medicine for people with end-stage cancers and burying all his failures, which he had a lot of, in a little cemetery. And there's a lot of people in that cemetery, like Alexandra Mary Radecky. This is her grave. It's been restored by a historical society on Rarotonga because the sea is eating the graveyard. Leopold passed away in 1980, just 2 years after Alexandra passed away. His father's name was Adam, his mother's name was Catherine, but I can't find anyone to connect this money to now. They didn't have children, and they passed over 40 years ago. I've had the chance to see Alexandra Radecky's certificate of probate and her certificate of passing. It says that she was born in Kał, Poland, and that her mother was Catherine and father was Alexander, that she passed away from cardiac arrest and fluid overload, and that the last doctor to see her was Dr. Brych. I ran my finger over his actual signature. My only thought is there's other Radeckys living in Australia. They have I's on the ends of their names instead of Y's, but there's heaps. I would assume there is some relation. I feel it in my bones. I think there's a particular few that come to the country around the same time, but I can't find the connection. But maybe someday I will. Also for Vlastamil Brych, the quack doctor who experimented on end-stage cancer patients, he's lost $3,775 in a NAB bank account in 1985. He was kicked out of Australia, kicked out of Rarotonga, jailed in the United States, and if he's not passed away, then he's still out there in Eastern Europe somewhere, hungering, I assume, for his unclaimed money, biding his time. But wait, I don't have the will of Leopold's, but I do have Alexandra's will. And in her will, she has a backup for Leopold, in case Leopold couldn't act as her executor. It says here, Victor or Francis Cullen could take over and be executor, and they would receive everything. In 1977, there was a Victor Leslie and a Francis Olive Cullen living in the same suburb. This is Leslie, and this is his grave. I don't know where Francis Olive Cullen is. I can't find their child. It probably doesn't matter. I should have ended this on Brych. Hungry, remorseless, ugly, somewhere in Europe still alive, waiting, longing, thinking of his hundreds of victims. Vlastamil Brych, the doctor.